Hello, good morning to everybody. A very healthy, the morning, and we are going to share with you with regards to the coming, festive occasions. Like next week will be Christmas. After Christmas, will be a New Year, and after New Year, immediately will be the Chinese New Year again. So there are a lot of people during these, festive occasions. We are in fact, enjoying a lot of festive, foods, which, of course, I agree, are delicious, tasty, and very, enjoyable. So if we keep on taking those sort of food, sometimes, that to those people who are very diet conscious, they are worried about, what will happen if I keep on, feeding all this junk compared to, of course, others which do not, even ever think of health will never worry and continue to take. And if we continue to do so, what will happen? And what if you understand I can eat certain type of food, at the same time, I'm also able to do something to protect my body? This is where today we are going to share with you on this, particular topic with reference, to the holiday celebration. And according to studies, when we eat a meal ourselves compared with eating meals with more than one people, we are in fact, likely, able to keep on increasing the food without knowing. Like if I eat myself, I know, well, it's enough. But when I eat with groups of friends, and when they enjoy talking, enjoy the food as well, as they're talking, and as well as with the friends, those food you took might, increase from 33 to 96% without you understanding. This is something people never realize, that when we take food alone, we can, control, compared when we take meals with, for several people, and especially, in the restaurant or even a coffee shop, where you are having a lot of those tasty, delicious food, you will never realize you are eating more. And this more means, you're consuming 33 to 96%. So sometimes, when we share information with regards to eating yourself and eating with people, and when you start to understand these differences, one day you start to realize, if I go out again eating with friends, I must know how to control myself. Or I must also know what's the food not to eat so much. Or maybe I must take some supplements that in a way can help me to counter this sort of, carbo and sugar absorption. You see, we need to do something for the body. We cannot keep on doing something and eating something which, might burden the system, our system, as we grow old. So here, we want to share with you, the chronic and the acute stage of the body once, when certain food we took go to a certain extent. The biggest health consequences here, we divided them into the chronic and the acute. When you talk about acute, normally our body will start to, stir up certain heat. You say heatiness, sore throat, or sometimes the food you took too much, the stomach cannot handle, and it might lead to indigestion. And throughout indigestion, or when certain food are not properly metabolized, it might ferment, causing, even food poisoning. That is acute stage. What, if it goes beyond acute, it will lead to chronic. And once, it leads to chronic stage, it might lead to weight gain. Yeah? You start to, allow the body to increase the body fat. And high blood sugar, high blood pressure, cholesterol, and one which people normally have feeling of pain or even swollen joints, are high uric acid. So if you look at these two, like acute stage and chronic stage, all these comes from what we eat. It is not because your body, just want to play with you by giving you certain pain and discomfort, by disturbing you, when your stomach don't feel good. No, it was the wrong food. It was too much food. It was, certain food that are not metabolized and catalyzed, amounting to high increase of fats and high increase of sugar. So This is the health, consequences every human beings are facing. And the world, when you talk about food and technology of food, has increased so fast that, it is sold in the market as fast food. And now it can even be sent, to your home, right, in front, at your door. You don't even have to go to the restaurant to eat. You just order food. All this sort of junk food will be sent right at your doorstep. Doorstep. All this, make it easy and for everybody to enjoy the food. And we didn't even consider the good and the bad. When something really goes wrong, when there's certain discomfort and pain, you take for granted you are sick. But you never realize those food you took make you feel sick, not because your body is sick. So the challenge number one that the most of the people are facing, like if you look at this question, will the increased hemoglobin, the BA1C levels and body weight return to normal level right after holidays? There are many people during holiday season, you eat a lot and you start to feel that you gain weight. And sometimes you also realize your blood sugar is also on the rise. If you go for a blood test showing HbA1c, it's high, which means, the amount of blood sugar attached to hemoglobin is increasing. Yeah? So will this level of sugar return to normal right after the holidays? In fact, the answer is no. Hemoglobin, HbA1c will drop very slow, then it rises after the holiday season. To increase, is very fast. To bring it down takes a long time and also takes, according to what you are eating again. If you continue eating the same food, high in carbo, then this HbA1c will not decrease. It might even, increase. You see or not? So there are many people, never mind, after all, once in the year, one Christmas, if I eat a lot, it doesn't matter. Yes, I agree. If a person knows how to control the food, tonight I eat a lot. The next 1 week, I stop, I control. Yes, it will. It is possible to bring down the level. But are you that well behaved and disciplined enough to do this or not? Is another question you have to ask yourself. You see, not to say your body cannot do it, but you must be able to sincerely having the real, discipline to do so. So if, the blood glucose attached to hemoglobin, declines after it rises, it only decreases 4.5% over the course of subsequent year, not 1, 2 weeks or a month. Anything, comes from the food and your body, your organs, your systems, if they can coordinate well enough to promote the real function. We cannot load them when they are already excessive. Yeah? So when you see the increase means it's excessive. And excessive means, you keep on loading the amount of food that carries, the sugar and the fat. So we have to slow down, cut down, limit the intake and lifestyle changes. All these together can then help to decrease. If not, it will keep on increasing. So what is the essential, the thing or the product or the supplement that can help us? It's no point to talk about a good product, if a person don't try. And when a person keep talking about the product, doesn't mean we want just to sell them. This product, that we are trying to share has went through a lot of, studies and proven that it really can block sugar and carbohydrate absorption in its natural way. Not the drug, it must stop the numbers, but not the content. Here, we are not talking about stopping the numbers, decreasing the number. We are talking about totally, neutralizing the content, utilizing, burn, and convert the sugar and the carb in a natural way. So this Suka block enhanced with chromium can really do this job in a natural way by assisting the body to achieve healthy body weight and blood glucose levels with ease. We don't force them in a natural way when it can work biologically with our body, especially when the digestion process is concerned. You see the change of this chemistry, where when the body is not able to work on the carbo and the fats, we need supplements or the correct food to do it. And this supplement is made through seaweeds, and it was blended from Nova Scotia, Canada, packed with very unique polyphenols that can neutralize two key enzymes which are responsible for breaking down carbohydrates and sugar. And as you know, polyphenols are packed with very high antioxidants with, potential health benefits, In fact, it is something like, vitamin C or E. We call it a reducing agents, which, can help our body tissues all over against oxidative stress. And these oxidative stress are always associated with cancers, coronary heart disease, as well as inflammation that we are worried about today, like COVID-19. So we need, polyphenols that can help us to neutralize these two, the key enzymes responsible for breaking down carbohydrates and sugar too fast, where your body is not able to absorb and synthesize. It will start to flood your blood, leading to inflammation. Something we need and something you can't find from the food, or sometimes very difficult every day through the 3 meals you take. You hardly can have, high good polyphenols. Here, Suka block gives you, that very important, you can say, high antioxidants, ever ready, needed by the body to overcome oxidative stress, which are the leading cause of problems and disease, today. See? So something that is very, important as when the health is concerned. So what happens when you ingested, these foods? These are the foods. What will happen? These are all high carbohydrates and sugars. What will happen when we ingest, this food? Now, in the mouth, our salivary glands, amylase, will start to digest carbohydrate so fast it turns to sugar, where your body is not able to utilize the sugar fast enough. And when in the gut, when in the gut, is saying the pancreas and the small intestine release amylase and glucosidase to digest carbohydrates and sugars again so fast that our blood cells is not able to use up. Again, the sugar level will increase and glucose is absorbed into the intestines and leads to an increase in blood glucose levels. That's where HB, A1C, comes, the increase through this way where too much of the sugar or glucose entered, the blood. See, this is when a lot of people don't understand when we are taking a lot of like food, bihun, mee, kway teow, rice, bread. All these carbohydrates are the food, if taken in the mouth, turn too fast into glucose. In the gut, also change into fats and glucose. So if it is not fully utilized and flood, the blood sent everywhere into our system, is where you start to experience, high sugar, high fats. So how does sugar block chromium work? That's important. You want to know how it works. We only take 4 chewable tablets. You take 4 chewable tablets and in the mouth, it will start to block the salivary glands from releasing amylase, to speed up the process of carbohydrate, the digestion. We don't want. We want to block this, enzyme from, speeding the process of digesting carbo. So the sugar level, that was converted will not be fast enough. It will slow down the sugar so that our blood cells can utilize them. No leftovers. While blocking them is something important. In the mouth, salivary enzyme, amylase, and in the gut, our pancreas and the small intestine will not, it was also block, these, the organs by not allowing the amylase and the glucosidase to digest the carbohydrate, and the sugars. So if this is successfully done in the mouth, block amylase from digesting the carbo, in the gut, blocks, amylase and glucosidase from digesting the carbohydrate, less sugar and carbohydrates, if not broken down and absorbed as calories, will never, then increase, our body's sugar level. Is that not? So that is something very important. If this, the works this way, then our body really is, insulin sensitive. It works, the way our body wants, and any carbo that turns to glucose is converted to energy as fuel, rather than too much of the blood of the sugar flooding the blood, not converted, no fuel, no energy, and your body, then become very fatigued. So in this chart, if you look at the 4 products here, both, all of them claim to block carbo, but if you look into the detail of what it can do, not all of these 4 products in the market, really can block sugar and carbo. Now let's look at the white kidney bean extract in the market. It can only, help to block carbohydrate because it blocks the amylase, the enzyme in the mouth, from digesting the carbo, but not, the enzyme glucosidase from the pancreas and, the intestines. So it is not blocking, glucose. It is only blocking amylase. So to speak, it only can work on carbohydrates, but not on the sugar. Whereas the green coffee bean extract, also the same. They are talking about helping people to bring down sugar, but the carbohydrate content, that you take from the food, yes, it is only, helping you to break this content, but not the sugar blocker. Both these products sold in the market works only on carbohydrates, but not on sugar. Whereas the fermented soy, another product, works differently. It only blocks sugar, but not carbohydrate. Because it only, the work on the glucosidase, the enzyme that digests on sugar, but not, on the carbohydrate. So it only works on one, but not on two. Whereas, if we go deep into understanding the body's need to block the carbo and the sugar, let's come to understand sugar block chromium. If you look at that here, carb blocker and sugar blocker, it can do this too. Why? Because it can inhibit the enzyme amylase from your mouth or in the mouth, not to digest the carbohydrate too fast. Easy or not? In so doing, it will start to block, the carbo from entering the blood cells. Another one is it inhibits the enzyme glucosidase and even the amylase as well from, the digesting sugar. So if less carbohydrate is digested and less, sugar also is digested, you will never have too much of the sugar or the fats, in our blood. So out of these 4 products in the market, of course, there are many more, you can't find one like Suka block that works on 2, blocking carbo and blocking sugar. We want to block both. You cannot block just one part. Of course, good enough as well to help you in one area, but you want both, so that most of the problems faced by people today when sugar and carbohydrates are concerned are controlled, and up to 10 times more superior sugar and carbohydrate blocking activity compared to other popular commercial botanical products on the market. This is, what when the products surveys, in the market, they can tell you on which are the product that you are supposed to go for. There are many types of products in the market claim to be good. Yes, it might work on one side, but not the other side. So if you have a product that can work on both sides, the carb blocker and the sugar blocker, we definitely will pick on this to ensure our body function the way we want, by not allowing the sugar to stay in the blood, but allowing the sugar to be utilized as fuel, burnt into energy. That should be the way. And our Suka block chromium, that's why chromium added is because it can handle sugar better than other products which don't carry this very important mineral. Okay? So if you look at how these Suka block can block sugar and carbohydrate absorption by 48%. And the unique part again here is it can last in our blood up to 3 hours, not just 1-2 hours, or sometimes less than even 2 hours. It can last for 3 hours. Anytime your body is in it, it helps to overcome this problem. And here, this chart, shown is not to, demonstrate. Here is to prove. In the 7 clinical trials and supported by 12 scientific studies. It is not just to show, but it's proven through clinical, trials with, more than 12 scientific studies. Yeah, a lot of things, done through clinical trials and not just, the testimonial purposes. So when you talk about sugar, carb blocker versus fat blocker, yeah, there are products, that only block fat. Especially the second, the product just now we have mentioned before, that is only blocking on, the fat, but not on the sugar, on the carb or the carb. So here, our sucra block chromium does not block beneficial nutrients found in sugar and carbohydrate-rich foods that you are taking. So don't be, the scared of, oh, if I keep blocking the sugar content, then these nutrients that are beneficial to my body is gone. No, it will never block any beneficial nutrients rich in sugar or carbohydrate. Whereas, if you compare with a fat blocker, it interferes with certain fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K absorption. Fat blocker interferes. Sugar carb blocker never affect any of these, minerals, which, the content that our body requires. And it does not interfere with bowel movements. Never. You still continue, enjoy your normal, healthy bowel. Compared with fat blocker, it may trigger abnormal bowel habits, suddenly like loose stools, oily stools, all this effect is proven by, the fat blockers. If you take too much of which, it may lead to this or trigger to this abnormal, bowel complaints. And again, our sucra block does not cause irregular periods in ladies. Compared to fat blockers, yes, it does cause irregular menstrual periods. There are people who complain about, irregular, the menses after taking fat blockers. But never one complain about sucra block when, these three important things are concerned. Yeah? And sucra block chromium do more good than harm, whereas fat blockers do harm than good. So we must understand the difference between sucra block and fat blocker. We want to control two, the things that are not supposed to stay too much in the body, rather than, to only control on one. We need to control on two. We cannot just take for granted one is good enough. So what is the challenge for number two? Well, gout only affects obese people. There are people who take for granted because you are fat, your body is heavy, that's why you got gout. These people normally take for granted, But here, we can answer you, no. Gout can affect people of any body size, including those who are overweight or underweight or normal weight. See? People who eat a lot of purine-rich foods are more likely to develop gout. Purine food. That's why when the person got, say, gout pain or swollen knee, or the bottom of the heel pain, and when they go for a check, doctor say, well, I don't know what's wrong. You only suffer from this, they might call it gout, but they can't even find uric acid. Normally, that was the content that is high, that attacks. But when a person went to see a doctor and ran the test, the test came out, no uric acid. But they don't understand. It was the purine-rich food, not yet crystallized, already good enough to initiate pain. Until if you are tested, high uric acid, that is already above the peak. Above the peak. That's why we cannot afford anything to be above. when purine food, purine rich food, reach the peak, reach the peak, you already experience pain. Peak. Above the peak, you go for test, you can find high uric acid. This is the difference. So don't ever take for granted if I got a pain at the bottom of my foot, and I went for the test says I don't have uric acid. They are testing on uric acid, but they can't detect, It touches the peak, not above the peak. Above the peak means confirm high uric acid. Touch the peak means it's already reaching the peak. Good enough to initiate pain. So don't always expect, going for blood test, is the answer. Our body at any time tell us the pain, numbness, discomfort. The body is already trying to tell you, please help me. No? Body symptom, body language is always, more, what you call, you can say, proven to you to tell you what is wrong, and they are in fact asking for help. You're not sick in any sense yet, but our body organs are already suffering from the food you took that they cannot function. Certain food which is too much in certain content already disrupting the continuity of the work by any part of the body. That is where pain and discomfort comes in. So not every time the test to prove our body's, language, and at any time when there's a pain is the most, the critical part of where it goes wrong. So the body is already trying to tell you, please help me. That is the surest way of understanding your own body, not going for tests or even x-rays, where anytime when the body shows the discomfort and the pain is the immediate, the time that your body requires help. And of course, something is wrong. If or else, why must there be a pain and discomfort? If your body, is in totally healthy state, the body will allow you to feel and enjoy all the good, moments. So the pain definitely are something that is wrong, and the chemistry is out. When you talk about chemistry out means, certain things are too much. And pain, of course, are acid contents. Definitely, because acid will lead to inflammation. And inflammation is where there are pains, that we can, detect. So high purines in the diet, when it's over the peak, will form uric acid. When it's not yet above the peak, it's still purine. That's why purine is good enough to initiate pain. And when there's excessive pain, means it's confirmed uric acid. That's the time you go for test, you'll definitely be able to detect uric acid. Okay? So in the body, leading to gout. So above the peak, it will lead to gout. When we reach the peak pain, above the peak, is where it leads to gout. So here, if you look at this chart, you can start to understand all the food we are taking. When you talk about purine, have concern to, a lot of, the load to the kidney, where if the kidney cannot take, this uric acid into urine, you will make our blood uremic. And when the blood is uremic, this acidic content will flow and load either the knees or even the ankle. That is the time swollen, pain, discomfort. So every 100 grams of meat, organ meats, or even seafood, take for example, the lamb contains 182 milligrams purines. Turkey contains 150, shrimp contains 147, liver contains 95. Lamb and, duck is about, 200 milligrams, per milligram. So it's very high. And every 100 milligram of alcoholic beverages, beer contains 7 milligrams. So if you drink, 10, you'll be 70 milligrams. Whereas whiskey is 0.12 milligrams, brandy contains 0.38 purines, wine contains 38 the mg purines. So if you start to understand this content, then you better know how much you're supposed to take and how much you're not supposed to overtake. And our standard dietary purines intake per day should not be more than 400 milligrams. We are not supposed to take more than 400 milligrams per day. So if you talk about length, which is, the 182, you cannot take, the 3 times more than this. Yeah, 3 times more than this is going to be, the above, 400. Isn't it? So if you take, 100 grams, 200 grams is still okay. 200 grams is about, 364. 364 is still below, 400. But if you are taking around 100 grams, per day is still safe. Anything more, you work on mathematics, according to the content of the food you are taking, and never, ever allow the purines to go beyond 400 milligrams per day. You are protected. So if you continuously doing something that contains purine and above 400 milligrams per day, you will have, a lot of joints, pain, and the bottom part here also will be very painful. Anytime you step on the foot and stand up, it might be so painful that you can't even walk. And painkillers by the time can never work on it. You need to take something to dissolve the purine, to decrease the content of the uric acid. So when it's about the peak, you suffer from pain. You have to take something to dissolve until the peak, the uric acid goes below the peak, pain disappear. That's how you remedy the situation by not taking the painkiller. If you take painkiller, the acid is still above the peak. Painkiller cannot take it down, So if you keep on taking painkiller, when the acid is still above the peak, the pain still stays. That's why it is more important to take something that can dissolve the acid, and the acid drop until below the peak, pain disappear. That should be the way from food we take, and not the drug, which will control the numbers but not the content of the acid, which still, is very high in your body. So the essential product number 2 is misai-kucing, which is also rich in polyphenols, very important antioxidants, and a lot of minerals, which help to relax our organ wall muscles, even the blood vessels. Thus, increasing and improving circular, functions, or you can say cellular communications. It also can increase, help to increase uric acid excretion. You can, if the body can speed up the process of excreting uric acid into the afferent tube from the kidneys, then you are going to urinate out a lot of this uric acid, thus minusing the content of the acid, which now when it's above the peak, will start to fall below the peak. See? So when it decreases, this uric acid content in the joints, even swollen joints will start to subside, and the pain will slowly disappear without painkiller, but you just keep decreasing the content of the uric acid, or diluting the content of the acid to make sure that it is not so concentrated and become easily inflamed. So challenge number 3 and number 4. There are many people When you take too much food, your stomach becomes confused. And when the stomach is confused, your stomach can only help to continue digesting the food, but not able to move another process of metabolism, catalysis, emulsification. That's how when a person suffers from indigestion, your stomach is trying to tell you, I still can perform digestive function, but not metabolic and catalytic job. So from indigestion, you will lead to food poisoning. Any food, if not properly digested, will be, putrefied. And once putrefied and stays in the stomach for too long, you will start to ferment. And during the fermentation process, gas interaction will create certain food disorder or food poisoning. This is these two, indigestion and food poisoning are the most common complaints of humans every day, and you can't even work. So painful that you even see doctors, and taking drugs, will add more acid. Beginning 1 hour, you figure it, 1 hour later, the stomach will start to, disturb again, because every drugs are acidic. So when acid started to increase, you start to feel uncomfortable again. So we need to overcome this, 3 and 4. We need to challenge by, taking correct food and doing proper things, for the system. So here we have an essential product by the name of plum bowls, which, are used traditionally for more than over 100 illnesses since, a long time ago from Japan, and now all over the world, to those who understand plum bowls as, the one food or the one supplement that can help to remedy a lot of normal complaints every day. Sometimes these complaints, we don't even have to see a doctor. We just, need to, take something that can lessen the burden of the stomach, bring down, or neutralize the acid, and everything is going to be fine. So don't despise the tiny bowls of very concentrated, plums for convenient consumption. Very convenient. You just plug in 10, 20 bowls. So tiny, even 20 bowls is nothing. It will dissolve very fast, and with immediate, digestive process, you start to feel the comfort of, the discomfort you faced earlier, whether it's indigestion or food poisoning. So when we talk about is a stomach problem or troubles, this, plum bowl is rich in organic acids that can really alleviate stomach discomforts, indigestion, and improve appetite. When you start to bring down the acid and allow the enzyme to enter, the stomach will start to properly digest the food. That is how you start to gain back a normal, good appetite. No bloating. And if the whole process of the stomach is complete and healthy, we will never suffer from constipated problem. You never have this problem. You see? And if a person continuously know how to take like 5 morning and 5 night, those who don't even have any stomach problem, it will improve the stomach's ability in digesting the food and breakdown of food. And if it can improve the breakdown of food, in a very natural way, it will also help our large intestine to speed up intestinal peristalsis. That means our large intestine is able to conduct good peristalsis to push out the waste in a regular, healthy manner. And all these tools, will be more of, the standardized, big, long piece. Not like, loose and very messy, the bowels. So it also helps to alleviate mild food poisoning. It contains antimicrobial properties in yume, which will only kill the harmful bacteria that might, go beyond by causing people to like have a sense of nausea and diarrhea. Sometimes, when certain bacteria cause, the certain imbalances in the stomach will have to throw out, thus making people like a sense of you want to vomit. See? So at any time when a person experiences this problem, you want to vomit, you don't have the appetite, you feel full and bloated, you can take immediately 20 or 30 bowls each time, depending on the severity. If it's not so chronic, 20 is good enough. If it is very chronic, don't be stingy. Go for 30 bowls and repeat every 2-3 hours for that day to see, good, improvement. Sometimes, if you want it to work well, you start with a high dosage, and just one day, the problem is solved. Rather than you take lower dosage, you need to take maybe 3 days to solve the problem. It all depends on how much you take. And don't worry, you can never overdose because it contains no chemical content. It is by itself naturally, a plant-based food. Unless, if it is very bad and you still continue, like you cannot breathe and very uncomfortable, pain, you better seek medical treatment. If your condition is serious, you better see a doctor. Unless, if you find you can help yourself in this way, take 30 balls when it's chronic, in just one day, maybe you take 3 times. By the 3rd time, everything start to return back to normal. Try yourself. We are not just trying to sell product by telling you to take. It was proven, and a lot of people, can stand up, to testify this, because, it was also in the market for too long, and this plum ball had already had its, name well known in the market by helping a lot of people who don't even have to see doctors. They take and then they feel comfortable. It is, in fact, a daily, you can say, the first aid at home. We need to have one at home. We need to have some bottles, to stand by at any time, especially in the middle of the night when you don't feel comfortable, you can't sleep, you got acid reflux. Well, you can do this. You can take 30 balls. And after which, half an hour later, you can sleep right until the next morning. So it can also help to reduce the effects of hangover. Of course, we don't want people to drink and drive. Always make sure that, you can drink during the festive season, but don't get drunk. And after drinking, don't drive. Somebody drive you back. You may stimulate the liver and kidney in getting rid of waste and toxins. As you know, the liver is a very major organ that help us to expel the waste. Even certain chemical contents, our liver is strong enough to expel them. Other organ that help us to rid off the debris and the waste is our kidney. They are the 2 organs very important, to help us to clear the debris, clear the waste, clear the impurities out from the blood. In so doing, the liver is the one organ, that can even detoxify alcohol and is metabolized, but the liver need help. Liver itself, contain nothing. So when we take something, supplements, that contain certain content, like yume, it will offer certain help to the liver, enable, to detoxify the alcohol, or to make sure that alcohol don't corrupt the cells of the liver. So there are many things, or many food, after taking into the system, it's not right. There are still many times, we got a chance and opportunity to take correct food to restore the balance. So it is more of how much you understand on the food, on the supplements that are able to do this. If you don't understand these are the food, I'm very sorry, you are not going to be able to put things back to normal. So people who take, you may suffer less from hangovers on the next day. There are many people, I'm very sure, from Cosway, or you might even, share this information to your friends. Not only today, many years ago, when you share this information to your friends and your friends start to know about this, they can come and testify the problem. Yes, I drink a lot, and I don't have hangover. Or I drink too much, I have hangover. But tomorrow morning, I wake up, it's gone. Because before sleep, when I drink back home, before sleep, they take 30 balls. And tomorrow wake up, completely no hangover. So take 20 balls prior to any drinking session, and you won't get drunk so easily. Or at least you can drink more before you get drunk, if ever. Of course, we don't want you to practice this. We don't want to drink until drunk. What is the point of drink until drunk? Drinking until you get drunk means, your liver is already loaded. And when it's loaded, your liver say, Master, I surrender. When the believer surrender, your systems might be out at that moment. So it's very dangerous. See? So don't ever drink too much if your body is not able to take alcohol. And the more alcohol you drink, the more you should, take plum ball. And if you want to better this, like if you tonight, you are going to attend a function where most of your friends will definitely want to toast with you and drink, alcohol, then you better take 20 balls and 2 omega-3. Yeah? And you go. 1 hour ahead lah. I can tell you, your liver is properly defended. The amount of alcohol that may enter your liver cells will decrease by more than 35%. Just imagine, 20 is protected. 35, a lot of alcohol is unable to break the walls of the liver cells in, the dooming the cells and making you, unstable. So something like this is important. Like I know if I were to attend a function that my friends, those who are drunk, who are drinkers, will definitely toast with me. I'll do this. Sometimes not 20 balls. I take 30 balls and then 3 omega-3s 1 hour before I go, and I can toast with them. I tell you, a lot of my friends will get drunk and I'm still able to drive back. Of course, try not to do this, If you feel you are drunk, don't drive. But I feel I'm okay. I'm very stable. I'm very aware. I'm still very aware. That means, of course, I got, the alcohol content in my system. But if it's not loading your liver, you're so aware and stable, you can drive. Or else, you better not. Yeah? So don't try this. Anyway, don't try this. We are not supposed to try this. But we only want to help you to understand how to protect your body. How to, at least lessen the burden of the liver so that, your liver tomorrow or the next day still continue to serve the same purpose. Continue to give us the same function. That's why knowing the product to take and protect, whichever organ is going to be, very important in allowing my body still, at the maximum functional, the state. So, Yume is also known as a natural antibiotic because it can kill bacteria, which are the bad ones, like E. coli, without harming the good ones, like Lactobacillus, Thermophilus, Bifidus, Kazai. All these are the good ones, the good strains. We want them to remain in the body, especially the large intestine. And we only want to lessen E. coli bacteria. You cannot kill them all, but we can, minimize, certain content of the E. coli bacteria, so that we can then culture the good strains of bacteria to enable the large intestine as a dustbin to clear the waste and to be able to allow the intestine to again absorb all the good minerals that are sent too early into the intestine back into the blood. In this way, you don't lose out. Our body will continuously gain. That's the way our body functions. Okay? And this natural antibiotic, the plum ball, also can strengthen our body's resistance against colds, flu, coughs, fevers, sore throat. Yeah, sore throat is one, and even fever. Some people caught flu, they only take 20 balls one time only, Another 3 hours, the body is already normalized. Return back to normal. They feel good. Unless when it's too chronic, maybe 20 balls, you still feel a bit. You're getting better, but you feel you are not still normal. You take another round of 20 balls. By then, I tell you, you'll feel, you go back to normal. See? So take 20 plum balls every 2 to 3 hours. Don't be stingy when you have the problem of cold, fever, sore throat. You have to really take a dosage to help and assist you to recover. If you take maintenance dosage at 5 in the morning or 5 at night, maintenance is good to do what your body cannot do. But when your body already suffer from cold, flu, fever, you have to take, a higher dosage to remedy the situation. So this is why many swore by plum balls as a must-have and as an emergency cure akin to a first aid kit at home. Something all the first, should own, and something we must always get ready, especially at the time, in the middle of the night. Normally, we don't want things to happen. Suddenly, one member of your family would have, stomach upset or, headache or fever. And if you got no transport, you can't even go to the 24-hour clinic, isn't it? And it is very troublesome. So at home, it is very comfortable. If you have something ready as a first aid kit, just, give 20-30 balls, maybe one round, you will do. So it is better to increase until 30 if you want a better effect, rather than to take 20 balls 2 times. Sometimes you take 30 balls, one time. You hit the bullet, the target, and you get body restored immediately. So the difference between raw UMA and concentrated UMA, raw UMA, does not contain mimefurol, which is an important active substance from the plum ball. The concentrated UMA is made from raw UMA. When it's harvested from the nutrient content at its peak, which is boiled into thick syrup or paste over low heat for several days, not one day, several days, to really, be able to extract out the real pure UMA. And this juice yields an extract rich, mimefurol. Raw can never, if you take it raw, you can never harvest the mimefurol. It has to go through days of boiling to create a thick syrup. So studies have shown that mimefurol improves blood fluidity. That is to make blood less thicker, and to enable a better, healthier circulation. And if this is proven right, through studies and also already research, where a lot of people are taking, yes, those who got, morbid fat in the artery or high, the viscosity of the blood, you don't even, realize when you start to take, good plum bulb with high millimolar, it will start to thin down the blood viscosity, thus allow the blood to flow freely, lighten the weight of the blood, which the heart, can easily pump, and your blood constant flow of circulation. This is the correct way for circulation and for the heart to enjoy serving us as long as we live. Okay? At any time when the blood becomes high in viscosity, high in weight, it's the time your heart suffers. No matter how strong your heart, the heart still will complain. The weight of the blood is too heavy for your heart to push, the blood through, circulation. Something even normal people like us, you're not aware of, what's already happening to your blood, and the viscosity of blood is already climbing. So when we start to take even as maintenance dosage, 5 in the morning or 5 or 10 at night, it is already helping you to ease up, the mobility of the blood, the viscosity of the blood that is already going to be thinned down. So once, it thin down, circulation is more constant, heart pump, just a light push, the blood goes up at ease. So you enjoy good, healthy circulation, no organs suffer, and you enjoy, healthy life. So challenge number 5 now is, on heatiness. When too much heat is inside the body, you result in symptoms like mouth ulcers, sore throat, cough, and sometimes, the phlegm might be very sticky, from, the white to even green, sticky green. All these are examples of the heatiness created in the body, of course, from the food we are taking, like, oranges. You talk about a lot of these, cookies, even this, the bakwa, and a lot of all these, the food we are taking, chicken, all deep fried, roasted, few examples of the food. If taken and the person don't drink enough water to tone down the system, to absorb them and to clean them, then heat arises. So many times, when wrong food are taken, body will start to give you a challenge. So when the body is challenged, we must have the body to solve and counter the problem. So here we got the 4th product, Phyto-Ease, which I'm very sure a lot of people, you still don't know how to share this product, to people. When people come to you asking for help, I got sore throat, what do you have? Some people say, I don't know, we don't sell this. When you have something, you can tell them, take Phyto-Ease. You can even tell them to take, chlorophyll. You got chlorophyll. Just tell them to take neat, 20 ml. If you just ask them to take your bamboo salt, take 1 pinch of bamboo salt, add into 20 ml of your chlorophyll, stir, then gargle and drink. Also help in sore throat. And then take, 4 capsules of Phyto-Ease with 200 ml water. I think the next 2 hours, the pain, the sore throat, start to be lessened and you feel good. So there are many types of product and supplements we have, but we still don't understand deep enough on how a person take and where it can help. And heatiness is one very common complaint of humans in Malaysia, or people living in a tropical country normally experience heatiness. And another thing added is because tropical countries, people enjoy tasty, delicious deep fried food again. Country already tropical, hot, yet we don't take enough water to counter them, yet added more heaty food into the system, where the body will then start to throw out and complain. So this Phyto-Ease, formulated with 15 types of carefully selected TCM, traditional Chinese medicine ingredients, can help to relieve sore throat, colds, coughs, phlegm, fevers, mouth ulcers, bad breath caused by viral infection or body heat thinners. So jot down this message, because a lot of people you tend to see, people walking into your shop asking for supplements that can help in my body heat, my sore throat, my flu, ulcers, whatever. So this is one product. Plum ball also can help. Chlorophyll also can help. Bamboo salt also can help. There are many more that you can offer, you can share. The problem is, you have to, come more for training, come more for, studies, so that you start to gain more insight of, all the supplements you have that you can share and allow people to enjoy a healthy life and solve the problem. So it also can fight infections without drowsiness. Yeah. When you compare our Phyto East, with the antibiotics doctors gave you, after taking, you feel drowsy. You can't even drive. You can't even work properly. You can't concentrate. Because you feel so drowsy. Your brain doesn't seem to be able to concentrate, not stable. So Phyto East works synergistically to deal with infection causing microorganisms in numerous ways. Like it boosts body's resistance to infection and start to aid the body to recover faster. It also vitalizes body's natural defenses by increasing the number of and the strength of white blood cells, the neutrophils, the lymphocytes and the monocytes. Okay? And stimulates the lymphatic system to clear waste, which we want to store, and debris that might build up during illness. If you build up too much along the air passage, you start to breathe, with pain and discomfort, or even you cough. You need to expel all this debris or the mucus or the catarrh, from the trachea into and as well as the lungs. And it also enhances, blood circulation to ensure nutrients are carried to the site of infection, thus, expediting recovery. There are many times, when you start to be sick, even though you take, medication, sometimes these medications don't reach the site of injury or place that needs to recover. So Phyto East can assist our blood to bring whatever is needed to the place that create infection or inflame for early and speedy recovery. So that's why taking product means, the nutrient, the minerals, or the vitamins or antioxidants must reach the place. And the cell then will start to recover. The tissues that start to nourish, to recuperate. That is for, healing and restoring body into a well-balanced function. So festive indulgence without a worry. You still can, enjoy the food, because you go for Christmas, good food once a year. Sometimes you love turkey, but normal ordinary days, you don't have turkey. You don't eat turkey, isn't it? And Christmas, wow, you go for a party where, your friends might, serve turkey or deep fried food. All those tasty food, you still can enjoy. Of course, don't overdo lah. We enjoy, but don't take too much until your body cannot take. Enjoy the food, and without a worry means you need something to protect again. So if you know you are going to, a party that is going to serve good, delicious food, before the meal, take 4 tablets 30 minutes before the meals, before, you go to your friends, the celebration, and take 20 balls prior to any drinking session. If you want to take good food, carbohydrate food, 4 tablets, 30 minutes. And tonight also I'll be having a drinking session. Delicious, tasty food with alcohol. then take 20 bowls prior to the drinking session. So that's how you take. What after you enjoy the food, you see, then you take 1 tea bag of misai kucing, help you to bring down the acid, clear certain debris. We need something like this to assist us. Anything that we took, we realize it is wrong, we can correct them. We still can clear them. It's a matter of you want to do it or not. And for a 2 to 7 year old children, they might also enjoy good food during the festive season. So 3 capsules once a day after the session, after the celebration. Then anybody after 7 years of age, it's better to take 3 capsules twice a day. That means the moment after the celebration, you go back. Before you sleep, take 3. Tomorrow you wake up, you take 3. That's the practice. And at night you can take 3 again. 1, 2 days. That's to help you to clear the waste. That's why we call this, festive indulgence without a worry. I'm enjoying a lot of junk food, wrong food without a worry. Means I got something, preparing myself, to block, to clear, to bring down the acid, and then to disallow the alcohol to be absorbed into my liver cells. You don't have to worry, because worry again will carry certain stress and disorder in the body. And when stress and disorder is created, your body becomes, they will not be able to function in total harmony. Yet now this is time you don't get sick, but you don't feel good. It's because your body is not in total harmony. We need our body to carry good job, well-balanced function by functioning in total harmonious pattern. So don't worry about the food. You still enjoy, but no matter how much, we don't want to overload the system. Enjoy junk food, yes, during festive season, but anything not wanted that you are already throwing, if you are able to know how to take them out, you are still protected. We are only worried, I keep on loading, throwing in, but I didn't take them out. That's the one thing that is wrong to the system if we don't know how to take them out. So to take them out, clear them, is doing the body fine. See? So in a way, we still can stay healthy during the festive season, no matter how many festive season that comes in. But this is the time, December is the time there are a lot of celebrations. Christmas, very close to New Year, where a lot of people are going to enjoy life. And after this New Year is January the 1st. February the 1st is going to be the Chinese New Year. Again, another big celebration. People again, taking a lot of food. So understand this, the talk. Understand, all the products we are talking about, the essential product, challenging all those, the things that they are doing wrong to the system. Share this information to all those people out there who are going to enjoy good festive, celebrations by taking a lot of those junk food and able to, clear them as well. So I hope, you are able to digest, today's talk and understand, what we are sharing with you, which you can then share down, to your, the network, friends, or any, clients that come to your shop. So I wish you well, and I wish you, a Merry Christmas, a very Happy New Year, and a safe and healthy body. Thank you. So I pass back to you, Ricky.
Thank you, Dr. Go. Thank you, everyone who attended today's session. And we'll see you tomorrow for Mandarin session.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Go. Bye.
Bye. So see you tomorrow.